Geek Variants, we're back. Miss Marvel season finale. I called it. I freaking called it. Yo, here we are back. We are going to talk about Miss Marvel, the season finale. And we definitely got some closure with a few things, and everything is really starting to shape itself for the future of the MCU. So, very glad to talk about this, and we're going to get into it as soon as you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button so you can stay tuned into all our content. And here we go. Let's talk about it. So, we got the season finale of Miss Marvel. Basically, big climactic battle going into the end of what's been going on with Damage Control, who has been the primary antagonist of everyone that is involved within the power sector, and Miss Marvel has been dealing with various antagonists throughout the show, as far as first it being these beings from freaking the Nether, the Jinn, and then it being Damage Control, and then it being Kamran for a hot second. Like, everybody's emotions and stuff have been all over the place, so it's been really fun seeing the interaction between everybody and them trying to figure out whatever's going on. But Brent, I want to know what you thought about this episode before I really dive into it.
The episode was a adequate ending for this series. I still stand by my criticism for the first 4 episodes. Nothing will change the issues that were there. Episode 5 was very nice, very well done. This episode was good, good, but not great. I feel like I still want more from Miss Marvel. So looking forward, that's something you want, because you want to be able to expand upon what you got. And I just have to accept that I'm probably not the target audience for the show. This is probably built for kids to continue to love and adore and grow with, the same way that we had the same interactions we had with the Avengers when they first showed up on the scene. And I think the actress who's playing Kamala Khan is doing a pretty damn good job. Kamran really brought a lot to this. The show was still really, really quirky at times, sometimes a little bit too much. But I like what they did with the ending here. There's still a lot of moving pieces. Marvel's built up for a nice little run in the future. The end credit scene was predictable, which somebody, not me, basically called the little bait switch there. So hence the name, right? Cloak and Dagger. They were leading us one way, and then they tried pulling out the other way, even though it was like very, very apparent from jump. This is exactly where they were going to go. But hey, I can't fault them for it. I think this was an adequate ending for probably Marvel's least high quality show that they put out thus far. Barely below Moon Knight, but there was the stuff to be taken away as positives and to build upon, and that's all you really need to keep moving forward, because Marvel will occasionally have a couple blunders, but they always hit it right out of the park in the next couple ones. So that's my thoughts on it.
All right. Well, again, I definitely was watching the whole way through. Again, I believe it was slow starting off and definitely ramped up. I was just talking with shout out to my boy CT. I was talking with him earlier about it. And a lot of people don't appreciate the show for what it is. And, I can get it, because, again, they're not the ones that it was aimed towards. But even with the show moving slowly going forward, like, they really ramped it up in those last couple of, episodes. And I really believe that we could do more with a bigger format, but they seem to pull out the clutch in the 6-episode format at the end pretty much, I'd say almost every time right now. Like, they've been coming through with the 5th, 6th episode to really make stuff kind of wrap up. Don't really care for the fight scene. I think
it was too chaotic. There wasn't any structure to it. I was trying to, like, who's fighting who, what's going on here, who's the distraction, who's the bait and switch. I was like,
military. How are you're supposed to be a trained, like, military kind of tactics group, and y'all are getting trumped up by softballs and
teenagers
or whatever. Like, it's kind of it's a bit much. It's like you're not paying attention to it. So I just thought it was, and again, it's for kids, so it's that whole thing is just that, kind of that campy kind of thing, like why, but when it got down to her using her powers and stuff and kind of going back and forth with Cameron, that was a lot better. Cameron's powers aren't traditionally how they were in the comics. He's more of a bioluminescent type guy. He can kind of do bioenergy charges and kind of shoot stuff out to explode. He was mimicking off of her power, so I don't know if that's just the direction they wanted to go with it, or was it kind of just we're just going to mimic her because they sort of came from the same place type deal. I don't know. I really don't like him necessarily having the same powers as her. It's kind of boring. I really wanted to showcase his different powers. Speaking of different powers, Miss Marvel started to evolve with her powers, and we actually got to see a couple different things. The biggest thing I was so happy to see was the fact that she used Embiggen. Embiggen is one of her main moves that she uses, where she just grows taller, and she can grow taller than what she was, and she can really just start smashing stuff in and doing everything because she doesn't have the stretch power, so to speak. It definitely works differently. With Embiggen, usually she stretches out to proportionate size to what she was, and then her legs and fists tend to get larger. This one, she still had the stretch, which just kind of bugged me a little bit because I thought we were getting away from the stretch with the crystal powers. So I wasn't sure how they were doing it. So it kind of seemed bad. I got to go back and watch it again just to make sure. So it just kind of seemed like it was counterproductive to what they were doing with the new powers if they were going to stretch her out anyway. So
it's like some level of consistency would have been fantastic.
Yeah, so Mr. Fantastic. So it would have been great to see all that stuff. But overall, she was still doing a great job with acting wise and the character doing what the character needs to do. So it was great. And we actually saw, and we'll talk about the character later, but we actually saw the polymorphism come in where she's actually able to change shape and to look like other things, other people and stuff, change her shape accordingly. And it's supposed to take a lot out of her when she does this because she's got to hold that shape, but it's something that she's used on several occasions to get through different things and whatever. And it doesn't matter who it is, she can pretty much kind of just about morph into anyone. So overall, they stayed really true to her character in the end, as far as how it is that she is, even with the new changes. I'm very happy with what they were coming up with. The uniform was great.
They took a really roundabout way of getting to
it was
end.
pieces. You got the mask from the friend, and then I figured Bruno would make the whole suit and stuff. That would have made more sense to me.
He seemed like a lost character who didn't really have a
But
place in anything.
yeah, I like that her mom had a hand in it because it kind of makes sense for her mom to do it because of the style of the suit and trying to keep it to the traditional style of their clothing. So it makes sense the mom, gave it to her, So that it works regardless. I'm just little stuff that I was noticing. So it's fantastic because as you can see by her character, they definitely were staying on point with the outfit.
And it looked really nice, and it really adds on to the fact that like her character is really her main power comes from her love of her family and support of her family. So they really drove that point home. So that I'm happy that the elements that they set in the first couple episodes, there was that big payoff. I was like, all right, now I get it. Now I get where they're coming from. It just took a really, really slow play to get there. And again, like you said, the episode format, I think, is kind of the problem with all shows right now for Disney. I think 6 isn't enough. I don't really want to rely on Hero Ball in episode 5 and 6 to really bring home every single property because sometimes you can make a rushed episode. And I got one random hot take. I think Marvel's Avengers did a better job with Kamala Khan's story and character than this show did.
So with that, as far as setting her up, I think Marvel's Avengers did a good job with her story. She was the main character of that game, and they definitely set up her story. I think that the way Marvel was doing this was more to explore the culture. So I understand where they were going with it because it did make its way full circle with her getting her name Miss Marvel. I love how that was done. It was great. Especially from, me being, a father and, having my daughter. So as that felt like a very special moment. And I really liked the way that that was done. So because they were more focused on family throughout this entire thing, it just made sense for the story to kind of go the way it was. Again, we can say this 1,000 times and stuff like that. It's slow played, but they needed to slow cook this for what they were trying to do. Whether we agree with it or not, but they had a vision. It it made its way to the end. It turned out to be a great product, and I'm happy about that. Again, I'm not going to fully judge the product until the end, and I see all the pieces, and they definitely did what they needed to do to get it across. So that was that. Again, I don't think there's much else going on with it, except the fact is that we know where she's going next. I don't think there's going to be a season 2 or anything like that. I think we're going to go straight into the Marvels, which is Miss Marvel will return in the Marvels, and we saw this tagline, this little title card, after she transformed herself into Captain Marvel at the end of the episode. This is where her polymorphism comes in, and she figured that she's able to change herself in, and could be how she infiltrates the Avengers compound or gets close to the Avengers to start being part of them and start trying to make her way in and meet some of her favorite superheroes and have her fangirl moments. That could definitely play a factor. I want to say that it's supposed to go straight in with her Captain Marvel, and I don't know what she's gonna go by. I said with Rambo, if it's gonna be like a Polaris type thing, a Spectrum, freaking Captain Marvel. Like I don't know what she's gonna go by. Spectrum is the one that kind of makes sense because you saw it in the show. It kind of they alluded to it, so she probably entering as Spectrum, and then we would get all three of the Marvels present to combat whatever threat is coming their way. So, and again, some stuff being left open ended with what's going to happen with Miss Marvel's polymorphism, what's going on with the Red Dagger and Kamran, and how the rest of the events are going to go in reaction to Jersey City and what's happening. Because right now, Spider-Man and Miss Marvel are both on the radar of damage control. So I think it's inevitable that we're going to have them cross paths at some point. It would make sense for them to cross paths at some point just because of that.
It would be interesting to see what could happen if damage control was like a subsidiary of something that the Thunderbolts would have run, and they have to call in the big guns to kind of do something like this. I'm not sure comically where that would lie, but I think that'd be an interesting play overall because most of the other Marvel shows we've seen, the recruiter lady, I forget her name right now, where she got a U.S. agent, she got
Madam Hydra, pretty much.
Madam Hydra basically was out here getting everybody. So I was like, I'm interested to see where that payoff comes. But overall, if I had to rate this series, I'd probably say 6. It's good, but as everyone's like, hey, do you recommend this? I recommend this for kids all day long. As far as most diehard fans, I don't know.
The ending definitely saved it for me. Going forward, for me to be able to give it a higher score, I want to put it at I would say for it being a Marvel property and in terms of doing Marvel stuff, I want to give it a 7. In terms of it being a good story, family wise and stuff, I'll give it an 8. So roughly in that range. That's about the best that kind of makes sense. But again, this is her intro, and she's not just jumping right into the action. She's going to have to evolve. So we should see a lot more of her in the Marvels and what she's able to showcase with her abilities. So that's what I got right now.
Yeah, because not every Avenger jumped out of the gate with like this absolutely breathtaking film. This is like I think Captain America's film was okay. I thought Thor's film was okay. There's a couple heroes where you just the film's just like but then like they really brust out of it in their second, third, or fourth time you see him in the MCU. Like, hey, that's my dude over there. He grows on you, and Marvel's done a fantastic job of doing that. So we all have faith. We all have hope. I'm very excited to see what they got coming down the pipeline. She-Hulk will be our next debut and dabble into the Marvel Cinematic Universe August 17th, which if you guys are subscribed and hit that notification bell, you know where it will be. You have anything else to say?
No, I think that's about it. So again, yeah, just stay tuned. I'm gonna try and get a load on what's going on with She-Hulk and try and make a couple predictions for that. We got a 9-episode run, so a lot of things can happen in this one. So stay tuned to find out.
All right, guys, I got tons of other geek stuff we got working on. You have to see a couple stuff popping up on the page. You know what we do. We're Geek Variants. You know us. You love us. Check out all the other amazing content that we have for you. Kevin McAllister body the CDC. Just saying.